Today we're going to be using the Faber-Castell Gelatos, the Brights, and the Iridescence 2. Now the Brights come in, of course, very fun bright colors. They all come with 2 different sponges in the kit and a paintbrush. Now this one I've already taken the sponges out and the paintbrush out because I've used them, but that's okay. We're gonna work with it. The Iridescence, if you like a little bit of shimmer, these have a beautiful little shimmer to them and of course an iridescent look to them. Now if you just like a solid color, you can just go with the Brights or the pastels or the translucents. So let's get started. Today we're using a canvas and I'm using the color Gelatos flat on the page. So when I say flat, I'm not curving it like you would hold a crayon or a pencil, but actually using it flat on the surface. And that way the streaks that I'm drawing are continuous. And I'm spraying it with a little water and moving the color with my paintbrush. You can also wet your paintbrush and do it piece by piece, but I knew that I was going to move all of the colors around, so I went ahead and just sprayed the canvas. So this is the first step, just getting some color and covering our project. All of the colors that I'm using, I will list at the end of this video. And I'm just going through and adding color. What's nice about Gelatos is that you can layer on top. Even if it's wet, you can still add more color. You can also wait till it's dry and add more color then. Now, right now, what I'm doing is adding a layer of gel medium. You can use this at the end of your project to seal it, or in between layers when you like something and you don't want it to move or change. So I was happy with the base and I wanted it not to move. So I added a layer of gel medium and I'm heating it up with my heat gun just so that it can dry faster because I'm not very patient. But after this, you can go on top and you can add more things, like what I'm doing right now is adding a little bit of collage with the gel medium. And on top of that, you can still color with the Gelatos, even though you've added this layer of gel medium, which is fun because we can have areas where the bottom layer shows, and then new areas where we have more layers of color or texture or whatever you want to do. So now that I have the first layer dry, I'm adding on top of it the collage and adding gelato on top of the color. You can get it wet and use it the same way we did the first layer, or what I'm doing here is I have just used my finger to spread that color around, and you can add different layers of color and whatever you want to do on top. I'm also coloring the edges of my canvas just because I like it to feel like there is a closed area, and adding a dark color that matches what your project is on the edges just kind of does that. It just frames the subject. So I'm just using the gelato and my finger, and then I use to spread it around. And then right now I wanted to make some drips, so I'm using a very wet paintbrush. I am also spraying a little bit of water on the edges. I have gelato drawn there first and then spraying it with the water and mixing it a little bit with the paintbrush so that I can get those nice drips. To get some really nice drips, you can draw directly on the canvas and spray it, or you can mix it like I did in a palette and then just pour it on and let it drip down. However way you do it, you're going to have fabulous drips going on. Gelatos are very soft, so if you ever want to make a texture with your gelatos, like a texture paste, I am doing that right now. I am taking some gelato and just smashing it into the palette, right? So that it's nice and creamy. And then I'm gonna spread that texture right on top of my project. Now, this is something that if you're going to use in an art journal or something like that, or even on your canvas, you probably are going to want to seal it because that color is quite chunky. So even just adding a little bit of gel medium on the top of that or some type of varnish is fantastic. And that way it will keep it in place and not spread any color. So here I'm adding a little bit of a pit pen on the outside of these circles, just kind of echoing those lines. And I'm adding some more gelato color on the bottom of the canvas because I just want it a little bit darker. So again, whether you use gel medium or you leave it alone, you can always still add a little bit more color on top, and you can even change up the color if you wanted to. So here I'm picking different elements to add to my canvas. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use or if I wanted to leave it plain. Of course you can leave it the way it is, but if you want to use a chipboard element and you're using light colors like I'm doing here, I add a little bit of gesso first, and that way that yellow is really going to pop on that background. If you don't put something white underneath, maybe some white paint or a little bit of gesso, and you'd use a very light color, that grayish brown color will show through, and I really didn't want that. I wanted it to pop. Also, if you get gelato or the gesso inside of the holes of the lettering, just use the back of your paintbrush to get that out. Now I'm showing you the different canvases and the different elements, and maybe you can tell me which one that you like in the comments below, and then I will adhere it to my canvas. So here's the last one, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and you will give it a thumbs up. I've listed all of the colors that I used in my project, and on this next slide I am showing you all the different available gelato kits that there are right now. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.